speaker. So, Indra Prabha Sharma today will be taking us through GenAI in QE. Just a couple of notes. Please make sure session. We have about 15 minutes reserved at the end for Q&As, but also feel free to throw your questions out there in the chat, and we shall address them towards the end or as Indra sees fit. So yeah, over to you, Indra.
Thank you, Suraj. Thank you for the introduction, and I'll share my screen as well. So today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, and why I see interesting topic. Obviously, this is bread and butter for us in the work that we do. Sorry, someone is in the lobby. Yes, but this is an interesting topic because most of the time, every account needs something where they can showcase how the entire SDLC lifecycle can be expedited. And when we talk about SDLC lifecycle, how it can be expedited, etc., the testing comes as part of one area where we always see that we always need some sort of a time, etc., to make sure the entire route to live testing, etc., happens very fast, etc. So this is an area where we have started seeing some sort of an early benefits in terms of faster route to live by bringing in automation. But if we talk about the automation is kind of a very kind of an old terminology, or what we can say is that it is becoming norm. Nowadays. When we say it's automation, everyone understands what is automation. Everyone, or most of us, understand what is shift left fundamentals, etc. So what we are trying to do here is, and I will not be able to see my screen now, so please do let me know if you will have any questions here, and I will minimize the window here also. What happened? Oh, let's see. Anyways, so what we are going to talk about is today the automation of automation. What does that mean when we talk about that? The automation of functional testing, non-functional testing, etc., that happens with with the generative AI capabilities. So here, what we are going to talk about is first how this craft has seen some of the evolution in last few years. And when we talk about the evolution, it is in terms of the quality assurance to quality engineering, and now what we call it as a quality engineering, all empowered with generative AI. So if you talk about sometime like 2015 or 2016 of the day, and that is where we started seeing this shift left happening, or this entire shifting of quality assurance to quality engineering happening in the industry as well. We were doing number of experiments as well, that if we talk about automation, how should we move away from a central automation team concept sitting somewhere else, and everyone else is testing within the sprint, but that central team is sitting somewhere else, and they identify some of the 40% of script, etc., and they automate. So this is how usually a structure looks like in any team, or used to look like, because there are still some programs, or where people are still kind of transitioning from manual testing or quality assurance testing. So quality assurance is a phased approach, right? We wait for code to be given to us by developers, and then we start testing it, be it in a manual fashion mostly, or in an automation fashion. We raise some defect in any tool that is identified. Developers pick that defect, they fix that defect, it goes back into the retest mode, and then they fix the defect again. So what is happening here is this entire cycle of repetitive task, which probably is not at all needed. For example, raising a defect. So the idea is that why do we even raise a defect at first end, or why can't we move some sort of an initial testing with either with pair programming with developer, or at least developers picking up some sort of an extra accountability in the testing as well. So we said that we will continue empowering our people so that they understand that how everyone can evolve with the automation with some pace there, and they transform into QA to QE. That was first, it's a kind of a craft thing, that how can we make sure that everyone is hands-on engineer. But quality engineering was not only a kind of a evolution for a particular skill, it was the evolution of entire infrastructure or entire ecosystem of that particular team. For example, the accountability of quality. So the idea here was that the accountability of quality does not remain with a particular team member. It is everyone should start understanding. So first idea was that how QA evolved as a QE, which means that they are automation hands-on. Very first ask, they are able to do the things. I'm not sure why I'm not able to. And they are able to do things which is progressive automation, think beyond the functional testing and make everything as a start including some non-functional testing, etc., within the sprint as well. And no kind of a or very minimal suite which is manual and which may be needed at the time of UI testing, etc. And then we say that everyone should be multi-skilled. What does that mean is that we start calling ourselves as engineers, and that is how this whole it matches with the entire speed capability, right? We all understand SPEED, where E as part of engineers. We see that everyone is an engineer. Whatever skill they carry, they should be multi-skilled. For example, if a developer or a backend person is writing a particular API or something, they should be testing it by themselves as well. Or if there is a QA or a QE in the team, they are not just writing a feature file or a BDD or any methodology they choose. However, they also try to learn some of the DevOps skills, etc., so that they can run some jobs uh, to propagate that artifact to the higher environment. So the idea is that everyone becomes multi-skilled. However, the QE obviously remains with some of the skills, right? Because in any route to life, we need that lens, that the quality of the code, the non-functional aspect, the OAT aspect, the business aspect remains. And business end-to-end outcome is one of the key area. So the idea is that the QE specialist remain in the team, and the role could be much wider and beyond the day-to-day functional testing. Just thinking about one story, defect, fixing that defect, retesting that story. So think beyond your basic functional story level testing to more specialized testing, and we will understand more. So, the idea is that moving forward, we all become a release ready team. Irrespective of titles or the skill we carry, we become kind of a multi skilled engineers. How we are able to achieve this, and what we have seen is that prompt engineering now, or generative AI, and some of the ready to use accelerators have really helped us in this journey. We started with this entire generative AI, machine learning based, AI based solutions last year, right? Last year it became kind of a it came into the market, especially the open AI coming in the market. We all started feeling that they have so many features, or they are coming up with such a ready to use solutions that everything becomes prompt engineering for us. So it is very easy. So what we have seen in the journey now, we have almost experience of 1 year almost, right? Because we started implementing the prompt engineering or exploring all the tools with AI last year, from 2023. And what we know is that we have launched so many training programs for the community. We have now launched a phase 2 level prompt engineering course. We have run number of POCs and POVs using these tools. We have started using them in different projects for some of the very basic testing, like functional testing, generating those given when then feature files, etc., and they have been really useful. So as we were moving through these POVs, proof point of views and proof of concepts, what we identified that there are in any engineer's life there are around 8 to 9 use cases. If we start leveraging generative AI in there, we will actually start benefiting a lot in any route to live or SDLC life cycle. So let's understand, and this is a quite heavy slide, so I'll take time also so that you can read through. So and hence the animation also, so that we can one by one understand. So the diagram that you see is a typical testing life cycle in any SDLC. Just take a moment to read through that there are pre-sprint activities, in sprint activities, and post sprint activities. Everyone almost does this. Agile ways of working, simple. We work on the DOR, which is our readiness. We have different types of testing that we do, and every tester here, or every developer, every engineer can correlate to this. We do unit and component level testing, which is API level. We run our BDD or functional testing, and BDD is just one methodology mentioned here. You may be using some any other simple automation of script, etc. Then you start thinking about your non-functional aspect. Now this is a bit kind of a north star or a strategic view that we want to implement in future. For example, you may be thinking, oh, I don't do any kind of security scans early, I will do it as part of NFT. Or I don't do any accessibility testing early, why should I do, I can do it later in the NFT. Performance engineering, some sort of a pen testing, etc. Why should I start thinking beyond? But the idea is that it is very important that how we can start thinking upfront in sprint testing. First, to avoid any redundancy. Second, to reduce those defect density is very important, because that is what we start accumulating in any SDLC for our pre-prod or production environment. So the idea is that the multiple runs you do, you automate your redundant testing upfront, you are able to prevent those defects early in the game. And that could include all functional testing, and start thinking some of your non-functional aspect as well. Right? And this is an example. Some of the UI testing, pen testing can still happen post sprint. Now the question is that how can we achieve this? Right? This looks like a very aspirational view where we want to even achieve some of the end-to-end test, where we want to do some sort of a early performance baselining, some sort of a risk-based testing, cloud testing as well if needed. We can do everything within sprint. First, mindset, that how can we start bringing those testing within sprint. Second is that how we have empowered ourselves with those accelerators, and those accelerators evolved with generative AI. So, so if you look at the screen, these are some of the examples of accelerators in PS inner source. So probably I'll ask a question later on. I assume that most of us have seen PS Inner Source portal, and we understand the TestX accelerators as one of the product there. So PS Inner Source has number of products, and every product has number of accelerators. One of that is TestX. It has around 27 accelerators, and I have given some examples that how can we map those accelerators to each of the testing type in any SDLC or route to live testing. For example, packed or consumer driven contracts for your API testing. Some sort of technology stack based solutions for Java based functional test framework, Node.js based solution, Python based solutions. For accessibility, we have Xcore and now Xdev. Similarly, we provide some ZAP-based security scans. These are all boilerplates. These are all, you can call them accelerators, or you can call them simple utilities that you can leverage in your day-to-day life. Right? And you just have, these are just plug and play. If you want to explore more, go to the PS Inner Source portal, search for TestX. There is a TestX video. And what next step we have done is that all these accelerators are now enabled with the generative AI capabilities. I'll take a pause so that I know it's a very content heavy. So take your time just to read through, and I'll explain. So the idea is that these accelerators are also now empowered with whatever utilities we can write through, either generative AI 3.5, and sometimes we also use PS Chat. So we have several utilities as a quality engineering community, we are also providing number of walkthrough. Test expander is one of the utility where it is like you can write down not only your given when then features or step definitions, but the model can train itself if you are running it on your environment in your uh, project as well. So it will start training itself so that they understand the entire the URLs. It trains itself to understand and decide on it. I mean, becomes bit intelligent to write some of your test cases. And now, because as I said, right, we have 27 accelerators. We have a tool which we are now calling it as a the preferred tool for testing. It is Catslide. Catslide is our generative AI enabled tool where you can see all the features at one place. So if you are from the community again, and in fact not only just the QE community, entire the different developer community are also getting that meeting invite from us. We are running multiple sessions on the Catslide feature as well, and we are doing consulting as well with that tool. We have seen a lot of impact in terms of or value in terms of effort saved in just simple in writing your test cases, in generating your test data, just creating a very simple CI/CD pipeline, and hence effort saved in debugging. Peer collaboration is one example, because if you remember, right, sometimes we always say that a product owner should write your given when then, because he is a business, he knows what MVP we want to bring into the production. So he understands that the acceptance criteria very well. And sometimes we also advocate that they should write given when then for us, and what QE should be doing is just writing a test script over that. But it doesn't happen, right? Because POs are not they don't understand the tool, or they don't understand, they don't feel easy. With the help of generative AI, it has become very good use case where POs are able to collaborate early with developers and testers. Similarly, another example we have seen is we can migrate our framework from one language to another language. We have several examples here. It is helping us in doing some early NFT or NFR testing, like accessibility, early performance baselining, etc. So what we have seen is these are all kind of benefits, between 30 to 50% of effort saved. Just move to the next one. So this is the summary that we are talking about, all the key use cases. This is a kind of a summary. Accessibility is not mentioned here, but if you're joining the Catslide tool, or if you are exploring the Catslide tool, you can very well see and check that capability. So try to enroll yourself to the different accelerator sessions that is being run to understand a little bit more, or you can just run some of the videos on the portal also. What we have seen is a lot of time and effort saved within sprint. And what does that mean? It does not mean that we are not going to leverage more QEs in the staffing program, etc. However, what we feel is that now QEs or any engineer is enabled with this capability, and hence, as we spoke about the role, think beyond your day-to-day functional testing. Do not just think about retesting again and again, but start thinking end to end. And if you write your functional test cases in a very effective manner, you can stitch your functional test cases together to make it end to end within sprint as well. For that, you can explore end to end orchestrated pipeline, that is also part of TestX. These are some of the examples or the differentiator that is being created across industry and in the different program. The another advantage is that some of these examples are with Catslide as we are talking, and Catslide can work either with the ChatGPT directly, 3.5 or 4, or we can even plug that with the PS Chat. So if you see the pre and post benefits by using PS Chat, there are several examples with the acceptance criteria that we have written, or a feature file or a BDD written, step definition written with Java Selenium as an example. I think we have a slide now with the JavaScript as well. So obviously the coverage and the accuracy is same. Nothing changes from the language perspective. And the test writing, test case writing effort in terms of accuracy, in terms of coverage. So how is this helping? This is helping not only in enhancing the accuracy and relevance of test cases or any testing thing, but it is also helping engineers to decide on the defect fixing, any kind of a decision making that needs to happen within sprint before any artifact propagation to the higher environment, to SIT or to NFT, and further. Very efficient resource utilization within the sprint and iterative improvements, which means that because things are automated, because things are bit intelligent now, and they are able to decide, you can run multiple regression or multiple execution of functional suite as you want within the sprint. I'll just take a pause 2 minutes so that you can read through the pre and post benefits in terms of percentage. And this is how we see the summary of efficiency gain in test case writing. And even if you have to maintain your test suite, that also helps you in maintaining. Now we have seen some of the examples also where your test case, if properly tagged to a particular story, if there is a change in the story, you can also get to know the regression impact on your in your test cases, because there are sometimes more examples where people say that we are not able to maintain our scripts because number of times MVP is changing, requirement is changing. So half of effort, or at least 30% of effort, goes in maintaining those scripts. So generative AI is very helpful in that scenario as well. So we have seen like benefits in terms of 33% effort reduction in debugging, around 44% effort reduction in step definitions, which is your all the scripting behind the scene, and 60% effort reduction in acceptance criteria for writing all the types of scenarios, edge case scenarios, negative, boundary values, alternate scenarios, anything. And what we have seen is one of our POV, while we were running in one of the UK based banking account, was if your QE is writing a scenario or a feature file, they were able to cover, let's say, simple login, and there was more scenarios that we tested. A tester can write maximum 18 scenarios. We were able to write 18 scenarios, and we thought it covered everything from a functional perspective, from an positive scenarios, negative scenarios, alternate boundary values, etc. But when we generated those feature files through prompt engineering, we were able to see 32 scenarios generated, and we could not deny, right, anything extra. Those 12 scenarios were also valuable. So what we found is that the generative AI is able to help us with more coverage and hence better testing coverage as well. So with these efficiencies, what we always propose is that think beyond from your day-to-day work, right? Currently where we are is that we are exploring the options that is available in AI space or generative AI space or in the LLM space. So choose, right? How do we want to go? That we can run what exists, we can adopt and augment what exists, or we can start working on some of the new features. For example, Catslide is an example. Several utilities created in TestX is an example, to finally fine tuning the models. So it is up to you that how do you want to start working on these new features that is available. Don't just explore and use them. However, start working on some of your own models or some of the solutions that you can use in your day-to-day activities. You might have seen an emails coming in about the revised EMM platform, right? Yeah, and the revised EMM platform is where you will see that the questions are revised to ask everyone, especially I think every craft has done that, to understand that most of the things are you able to achieve at a maturity level 4 or 5 by use of GenAI or not. So that those questions will prompt you every time. So please, I encourage that while you are delivering, while you are working on your day-to-day activities, start exploring all these solutions. TestX and Catslide is a one good point to start, or you can reach out to us. We run our community connects as well. If you want that a particular community, we can run specific sessions for you. You can let us know as well. But the point is that in entire SDLC life cycle, we are able to see good 40 to 50% effort saved, better quality testing, reduction in defect and the defect density in before any higher environment. And the point is that it does not reduce any staffing point, but the idea is that it is helping you to save time to think beyond your functional testing scope or in sprint testing scope and evolve into more specialized end-to-end thinking role where you are able to understand that how can I fulfill what the customer is asking for. So it gives you more time to think beyond your day-to-day work. These are some of our generative AI courses, which is already launched in the community for now. These are two-phased approach that we are using at the title specific. Let's say we started with senior managers, and now with the senior associates. But this is primarily with the QE community at this moment of time. But you can explore walks and you can work with your craft leads or your leaders if you want to pick some of these prompt engineering courses, etc. So this is about our summary that how and where we can leverage generative AI in day-to-day use cases. And I think now we can open the forum for the question and answer.
Yeah, thank you, Indra. And there already seem to be quite a few questions flooding the chat.
Yeah.
Um, I'll just go in order. I think Michael says, how can you save 80% effort when creating test automation code? And he requests some real world examples from projects.
Yeah. So we have several real life. So 80% is kind of a specific to one or two story level, but maximum benefit that you have seen that you will see is 30 to 40% effort in your test case writing. So if we talk about the SDLC, it is between 30 to 35 that we have seen. And overall, within sprint, if you just want to talk about your test case writing, that's a one specific scenario, we are able to save around 80% writing effort. If you want to see the real time scenario, one is I suggest join the Catslide session where we can see just with a prompt with API testing or a web based solution, you can generate your test cases with basic inputs. Nissan is one example where we can showcase some of these benefits. I'm not sure, Joseph, you are there, but if you can send me a mail also, we can show you some actual things running on the ground. There is also an application, step application, which is from the sustain team wants to leverage that platform or application for the incident management, etc. That is also where we are heavily testing on the data, and we can show you some examples both for web and UI there. So yes, probably you'll have to reach out for some of the demos to us. I'll say Christian asking what is the basic input for generating the test automation code, assuming it is not only the test automation framework wise, but also the test cases themselves. So test solution or from a test framework wise, these solutions exist as either a simple utility or a boilerplate. With generative AI, what we are doing is we are plugging in this solution, our Catslide and our accelerator, either to PS chat or directly with the licensed, we have one license at a PS chat directly. The reason that some of the projects may not want to get PS chat, so the inputs are So there is a proper LLM model behind, and we provide inputs in terms of keywords, etc. That we also have a slide. Why can't I send you that slide? Or you can also watch a video on the PS portal. I will put that PS portal link here. Try to watch the video. There you will be able to see some of these solutions, that how things work behind the camera as well. I have just copy pasted the portal link here that can help you to explore further. I see any other question.
One question,
How
Indra.
can
Is
we?
there any is
Yeah,
there any approved tool in LVG we can use? It seems like no
is
people are
there?
saying any approved tool we can use for LVG client.
So LVG is one of our key areas we are presenting to the number of clients. I think Shell, the problem is security aspect. They
Yeah,
are
yeah.
still getting that kind of approvals. So the tool works, and that is the case with most of our financial services client. However, there are few retail clients which are almost there in onboarding either PS Chat as well, and then Catslide, or Catslide without, I mean, by their own license. So LBG specifically has some security concerns, and they are yet to get some approvals. If yes, then we will be able to leverage this tool.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, ma'am.
And Expender, Test Expender, which is our utility to learn the environment of a program and train the model, that was tested with some of the offline data, not exactly in the environments of Lloyd's, so that we can actually test that. So one of the team participated in that from the value stream.
Yeah, yeah. Recently, I think Sid was trying to demo on GPT for all to LBG client, LBG leadership. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if there is any update happen. Is there any update on that or not? But yeah, that there is some security concern, and we might need to find the correct tool which we can use for LBG.
Right. So the idea is that if they are not ready for a tool or already created utilities, we have the code base ready. You can, just write it as an IP based thing, because we try to keep our solutions IP free. Uh, so you can do some specific customization based on that.
Got it. Got it. Thanks, Indra.
Yeah.
I
And
click
see,
one
yeah.
question. So while doing testing, we have a phase like sometimes our data was not proper and how to evaluate the data while any either SQL or relational or non-relational database. So that was also challenges while doing the performance testing and doing the unit test cases. So what framework you suggest to minimize this thing?
See, for unit testing, what I would suggest is a bit a next in the accelerators, which is your API or a microservices based solution. You can leverage that accelerator. Currently, it is bit enhanced with the consumer driven contract solutions, etc. But if it is only the data bit, try to use the accelerator. The another way is Catslide has a test data generator tool embedded for you. So as you said, right, even for the load profile models, you wanted to put some sort of a load profile in there with the performance testing. uh, it The entire profile model is configurable. You can put that if you have some NFRs ready. I'm talking about the both baselining and some sort of a load profile model as well, that you can configure. So what happens, there is one feature in Catslide where you can convert your functional test cases uh, to your load profile scenarios as well, without any extra effort. That will start running on some sort of a some load that you have put in the configuration. So the tool helps you to write your functional test cases, and no extra effort to make it convert it into your performance test suite as well. And I think
Just
that
a
is
one.
sorry, just one point, Mukesh. And I think Suraj, Sayanti, if we can make a note that next section can be the cat slide session, because that will be directly related to this session, and people can find some answers through
Sure.
that also. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
Sure,
we can
Indra.
Mukesh.
do.
Thanks. Noted.
Sure, Indra.
Yeah.
Hey, Mukesh.
Yeah, so while doing performance testing, let's suppose I take about example Oracle database. So query cost and the cost I'm going to be analyzed and the indexes. So these types of any tools is suggested for the while doing automation or performance testing for relational or non-relational database point of view for AI.
Specific tools we don't suggest. So I think your question is SQL Oracle here. From a tool specific, we don't suggest. Rather, we provide a solution that if you're using a tool, can we help you in integrating with either Catslide or with some of an accelerator to make your life easier in terms of creating some of the scripts for you, in terms of creating some sort of an automated work for you. So tool recommendation, because we know, right, we are as in consulting organization, we may have to work with number of tools. So we do not propose which one to use. Rather, we try to find a solution to integrate that with the AI based solution.
Yeah, got it.
So I
Um,
think I see Michael has put a long question here. So should we take questions first from the someone who wants to speak through, and I can try to read the question here.
yeah,
Um,
sure. I saw a couple of hands raised.
Please
I
go
think
ahead.
Mukesh was one of them. I think we can go by order from the chat. There were a few before that as well. I think Arunava had a question on how Catslide is integrated with the CI/CD pipeline and whether we have direct access to the code base while writing test cases in Catslide.
So for this group, it is an accelerator. Entire code base is available. You can directly go to the portal. You can check the PS code. Once you click on that, the code base is available to the team. Uh, so with Catslide, there is just one thing, as we said, right, that all the accelerators, all the features are put together with GenAI features in Catslide. So you can't. So you can. There are two ways. It is a no code, low code solution where you can just start leveraging what exists, and there is another way where you can put your code in git and check in the code as well based on your customization ask. So CI/CD pipeline is generated on the ask in the tool for your testing, but it is currently only testing pipeline. If we are talking about the entire route to live pipeline, that is again a entire team collaborative effort, which means that we need to work with team to make sure that is set up from the unit testing to the environment propagation, some sort of a quality threshold placed somewhere, like for example your unit testing done. Sorry, I didn't realize I was not on camera. Some of your coverage done, some of your testing execution status done, etc. So currently CI/CD pipeline only in terms of testing we support in Catslide. And I think one of the very apt question, Michael, from your side, that is more about the whole requirement gathering thing, right? And most of these things start coming in while we do the test. The only bit I can say is there are many other tools, Backlog AI, and other tools, which is more about, how can we use generative AI in making sure the requirements are up to date as well. But one benefit that we have seen is, again, it's a ways of working thing. What benefit we have seen is that now with this whole automation of automation thing, we can start raising that requirement gaps early, right, rather than raising a defect later on some time that gets fixed, and then the entire retesting happens, and after some time we get to know this is a requirement problem, not a functional problem, etc. So from a testing perspective, we are able to identify that early, and then there are other GenAI by the product team that can help you that how requirement feedback can also be a shorter feedback loop within the SDLC. Bad requirements you can't solve, that I understand. You need still the requirement. Bad requirement is something, the base of the problem. I see
Um,
one hand raised and then question from Uday as well. We can pick. Um, Uday, the question is, in the areas of performance testing, what can we leverage from GenAI? It could be a test script preparation workload. So, feature file writing, you can. Then the step definition behind the scene. That same functional test case can be converted into a performance script. We are using Gatling uh, just because it is a lightweight solution. So you can see that example with a Gatling. Put some load profile model, whatever the baseline. If you just want to test some baseline, you can do that as well based on the NFRs. And you can see, so it also, we can also generate some sort of an automated dashboard in there as well. You can see the functional execution status along with your request response time or anything that you have put together as your scenario. So there your question continues with the other channel that's going on with the cat slide or accelerator as well, non-functional testing.
A quick reminder: there is a feedback for a feedback form for this session. Feel free to take a minute to fill that up before we proceed to other questions.
And also let's do cat slide ASAP, Suraj, next time, or if we can expedite that early
I
next
was
week
just
itself.
going to say we were already in talks, and I think it was already somewhere floating in the schedule, but we'll definitely do that because obviously it's topical and a lot of questions on Catslide also pouring in. We'll definitely do that, Indra.
Yeah, that will be helpful. And I see Arunava Mitra, you are asking for, do we have some live or recorded session for these accelerators? Yes, we have. Uh, I will send you the Vox page link as well. You can read through that. You can look through that also.
I think there is a request to share the slides after the call.
Yeah, I can share that.
Yeah, we can do that through this group itself. And there's also the dedicated Teams channel, so feel free to share in either of the two places, Indra.
Yeah, I will share that with you just wherever it is applicable.
I think we have a question from Shailendra. Oh yeah, I think we covered this in context of the LPG client. Um, Anita asks, can we generate the feature file for auto scenarios via Catslide? Yet another Catslide question.
Indra, what difficulty we are finding is usually I'm from CMS project, and most of our validations are done on the component testing, template testing, and other stuffs. We tried in the CATS like we are finding little bit difficulty in generating the feature files for the especially the component, the author scenarios. Publishers we are well versed, but author scenarios how we can leverage is Gen AI, which is in
So
CATS like.
Anita, I think, yeah, so what I feel is that, right, because Catchlight is prepared currently as a generic solution, and based on our different collaboration, we are working on even to, make it more desktop, mainframe, other data engineering sort of. So this I see an extra request coming in specific to a particular test type. So that the feature may not be available at the moment of time, but we will have to add that in the backlog and help you with that. So that will require a session if it's really you want to leverage that, and that will help you in saving that effort. We can pick that as a next step.
Okay, thank you, Indra. But 60% of our validation is on templates and components, so I was looking forward for those. And
And
we contacted the Catslide team also for this. They told that for publisher, for now, all the things is available. For other scenarios, we don't have.
yeah, we will not have, because the requirement may be right, because we wait for any specialization features to be added. But the answer is that these things can be done. It's just that three people team sitting and trying to, we are working on this tool at our own. So we will add that. So if you have some sort of a business urgency, etc., you can let us know and we can prioritize in our backlog. That can
Uh,
happen.
that helps, Indra. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll need a business thing that you are going to leverage that very soon, and we will start seeing the benefits out of it. So it's the value driven uh, development.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll wait for that because that will be helpful for us also. And I've shared some of the videos here. These are the accelerators and catchlight videos. Go and look at there. I will also check the craft team because this is a wider community. I'll put some of the more slides here also. If you are in a particular DL, can you just copy paste here, because at this moment of time we are running some of our sessions weekly, bi-weekly across the geographies. So if you are from a particular geography, send us that if you want yourself to be included or you want some DL to be included as per the geography. Let us know. We will include you in that specific session. We have a question from Purush.
I think Venkatachalam also was waiting in queue. If we could just have this question, please. Sorry, Purush, just give us a minute.
No problems.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, Indra. Good afternoon. So I think my question will be related to catchlight only. So I think it will be covered in the catchlight training, or can I put the question right away?
You can put your question, or you can let us know if you're not looking for something immediately. What is the question? You can let me know, and I can say.
Yeah, so the question is related, like, since it's GenAI, based, it's built, Catchlight's built upon GenAI, so it should be supporting all languages, right?
Yeah, environment, language, tool agnostic solutions are there.
So tool agnostic, right? Tool agnostic and language agnostic. Okay. So why I asked is, like, there are like previous projects, there are problem scenarios like where they wanted to migrate, the entire existing automation suites from Java to C#, and there are scenarios from UFT, suits, some fintech UFT to again, like to Selenium. So there are like, so that's why I just wanted to know, like, whether it's
so
tool
Venkat, that
agnostic.
is one of those 9 or 7 use cases that I showcased, because in one of the client tasks from a legacy perspective is that we were not able to play around with our automated end-to-end suite, and because it is all the mainframe based and the test cases are written in UFT. That's UFT, not even the lean FT, the newer version. That means very basic script automation. So how can we do that? So that was the Java utility we wrote to get them converted. And there is another thing in Pandora as well, which is into the playwright from the legacy. So we can do that. We call it kind of an transformation support for optimization of your regression pack if it is in legacy. So it's optimization solution.
Okay, Indra, thank you.
Yeah, Purush, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Indra. I just want to know, do we have any accelerator ready for Playwright and Zephyr solution? What I'm looking actually is that Playwright can able to pick the feature file directly from the Zephyr and then can able to run the feature file and upload the results directly in the Zephyr.
Yeah, so if you just look at 2 weeks before email that came from the craft and from the TS inner source as well, Playwright has been very well in place. You can talk to, I will tell you the name here.
Okay.
So go to, first question is go to the portal, check all the TestX accelerators. There is one you will see in the highlights, and Sridhar Vuttarkar is the engineer there. I will put that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so you can directly ping him for Playwright.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and each accelerator has proper README files, etc. How to do the setup, downloads, etc. And you have the engineer's name. If you have any question, you can send a mail to engineer. And there is an email also that most of us in the team get. So if in case you're looking for some help.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Do we have any more questions? Okay, if that's it. Just one more reminder, there is a feedback form in the chat. Please take your time to leave your impressions there. We will, in all probability, come back with a Gaslight session next. That should happen in the first or second week of April. Stay tuned to your inbox for the calendar invites. And thank you for joining.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much, Indra,
Thank
for
you.
taking your
Thanks,
time
Indra.
for this.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
everyone.